Today we're going to go ahead and learn how to make a simple presentation using Google Slides. I'm inside my drive. I'm going to go into my tech folder. I'm going to go ahead and make a new Google Slides presentation. First thing I'll do is give it a title. I'm going to go ahead and call this autobiography because this presentation is going to be all about you. The next thing is let's go ahead and choose a theme and just find one that you think looks nice. I'm going to go ahead and close out that Themes tab and give it a title. The title should be creative. It should express something about yourself. I'm going to be kind of boring and say, all about me. And then in the subtitle, I'm going to put my name. Now, if I click on my little slide over here, I have some options. We're going to leave the background pretty much the same because we picked a theme, and the theme is going to assign the background for all of the slides. But I'm going to talk about transition. Transitions refer to two things. Firstly, they refer to how these slides move from one to the next. And then they can also have animations, which is how parts of the slide will come on the screen. So, for example, I'm going to choose fade, and I'm going to apply it to all the slides. Now, when I press play, we'll see that when I move from one slide to the next, it will fade in and fade out. I'm going to press stop. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose different aspects of my slide so far and do add animation. So I have two things here. How is it going to happen and when is it going to happen? And what I'm going to choose for this is I'm going to do a fly in from bottom, and I'm just going to go ahead and say after previous, which means that this is going to happen on its own. It's not going to wait for me to click the mouse. So I'm going to press play. We're going to fade in, and then the title will automatically fly up. I'm going to press stop. I'm going to choose my subtitle. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add an animation, but this time let's do fade in or fly in from left. And I'll say after previous. So things are going to happen in order now. We're going to have the transition fade up top. Then my title will fly in from the bottom, and then my subtitle will fly in from the left. And it just makes it a little bit more interesting. There are a couple of ways I can add a new slide. I could do insert new slide, and then it's telling me there's actually a shortcut key, which is Control M. That'll probably be Command M on a Mac. I can also just click on this slide and press the Enter key, or I could click on the right-click on the slide and do New Slide. You'll notice that the theme looks a little bit different. Typically, the title slide, the first slide, has one look to it, and all the rest of the slides look a little bit different, but from here on out, they'll all look pretty much the same. As we move forward past the title slide, the other thing that we want to think about is the layout of each slide, and that's how the slide is actually laid out. So the first slide, which was a title slide, might look different than this one that says title in 2 columns, or title and body, which is what we have selected right now. For the most part, for this kind of presentation, I think the title in 2 columns makes the most sense. We can have a title at the top of the screen, we can have one part for text and one part for a simple picture. So for the rest of the presentation, you're going to find things to talk about yourself, sort of broad categories, so each slide is dedicated to a part of your life. An obvious one might be to have a slide about your family. Now, when creating a presentation and you're using text, you want to have bullet points. You don't want to have long sentences. You don't even need complete sentences. And you definitely don't want paragraphs. There should be simple information, easy to digest. I shouldn't have to read much of it, because if you're actually presenting this in front of a group, like a POL presentation, for example, you don't want people reading a long paragraph while they're trying to listen to you, because they can typically do one or the other, but not both at the same time. So, for example, for my family, I might say, something simple like that, where I've explained who they are and what their names are, but I'm not going to go into a long paragraph about who my mom is and where she was born and things like that. If I wanted to add a little bit more information, I could say something like mother named Patricia, born in England, which she was, by the way. But I don't want to have a lot of text here, and I only want to have between 3 and 5 bullet points per page. Any more than that and it's a little bit too much. If you'd like, if this looks a little too barren for you, you can go ahead and select it and change the font up here so that it actually, oops, that's going to be too big obviously, so it fills up the space a little bit better. So maybe something like 22. For the other side, we're going to have some sort of picture. Now, you're more than welcome to go and find a picture of you and your family, or maybe it exists on social media somewhere, or you can email it to yourself from your phone or something like that. Or if you'd rather just keep it sort of generic and easy, like I'm going to do, you can go to Google and search for family. Go to images, and I'm just going to grab this picture. Looks pretty. The important part of about this assignment is I don't really care about your family. I care that you actually know how to create a presentation. So let's see. I'm waiting for it to get clear. There it goes. I'm going to right click. I'm going to do copy image. I'm going to come back, right click, and do paste. It's going to come up really big, so I'm going to resize it so it fits over here on the right hand side. If I move it around, you can see that's where it's centered. That looks fine. I'm going to click that text box back there and press delete to get rid of it. So now I have a simple slide, but I'm going to go ahead and quickly add in some animations to it. So I'm going to click on the slide. I'm going to select an object to animate. Let's start with the title, add animation. Let's do a appear after previous. Now I'm going to click on these bullet points and I'm going to do add animation, and I'm going to have them, let's have them fly in from the left, and I'm going to say after previous, and I'm going to click by paragraph. And what that's going to do is, instead of all 3 of them coming in at the same time together, if I click by paragraph, they're going to come in individually, one after the other. I'm going to click on the picture one last time. I'll do add animation. I'll do fly in from the right. You are more than welcome to choose your own animations, obviously. After previous, I'm going to press play. We're going to fade in. That appeared. They came in individually from the left. That came in from the right. Looks nice. I'm going to go ahead and make a new slide by clicking here and pressing enter. And another title for me might be hobbies. And to keep things a little bit interesting, I'm going to go ahead and put the text over here this time and put a picture on this side. So I'm going to choose my bullet points here, and let's see, some of my hobbies are reading. If I'd like to go into more detail, one thing I can do is underneath that bullet point, I can come up here to the indentions button, and I'm going to increase the indent. And I might specify that I really like reading Lord of the Rings, Dune. These are some of my favorite books. And then when I press enter, if I want to stop sort of indented like this, I'm just going to go back and decrease the indent to go back to sort of my overall bullet points. And my next hobby might be gaming, where I say that I am a Xbox, Nintendo, PC kind of gamer. And finally, I might have one last hobby where I specify that I like sports, and I might specify that I like to play softball, volleyball, and ultimate frisbee. So I've managed to indent and give some sort of more detail without having long sentences or paragraphs. It's very easy to read. It happens very quickly. I'll shoot out to the internet and I'll find a nice picture of ultimate frisbee, which some of you might not have heard of before. It's a really fun game. And I'll right click, copy image. I'll come back, I'll right click and paste it. We'll resize it, and I'll get rid of that text box. See if I can get this centered. Now it's centered and it's lined up with the word hobbies. I like that. And finally, I'll go ahead and I'll add my animation. So I'll have this zoom in after previous. I'll start with a picture this time, and I'll say spin. This is kind of cheesy, but what the heck. And I'll add one more. Actually, I'll choose my text box, then I'll add one more. And I'll just have it flying from the top after previous, by paragraph. So each of these will come in on their own. I'll press play to view it. There you go. So I'm not going to go through this whole thing with you, but I'm explaining to you what your requirements are. You're going to have a title slide. You're going to have 5 slides with information on them. So you're going to have 5 categories: families, hobbies, whatever. 5 of those things. And then the last slide, the 7th slide, just pick a really cool picture that you really enjoy. Make the whole thing a picture. So if I were to go ahead and I'll press stop here, we'll pretend this is my 7th slide. I might change the layout and make it so it's just a blank slide. I'll go find a picture that I love, and I'll right click and I'll paste it in here. So for a total of 7 slides, you'll have 1 title slide, 1 picture slide at the end, and then 5 what I'll call content slides in the middle. They should definitely have the animations added to them and transitions in between them.